Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Jordan. I'm the event manager here at Edge, and I'm happy to introduce Dr. Anissa Broussard. Dr. Anissa Broussard is a renowned expert in digital marketing for dentistry. She holds a fellowship with the Dental Speaking Institute and has been invited to keynote at major events including AACD, Social Media Marketing World, and Funnel Hacking Live. Her work has been featured in Dental Economics and highlighted in Russell Brunson's Expert Secrets. And Dr. Broussard is also the founder of Digital Floss, a full-service dental marketing agency, and Dental Flix, the premier online education platform delivering top-level training for both independent and group practices. Without further ado, I'd like to kick it off to Dr. Broussard to take it away.
Awesome. Are we ready to go, Jordan? I know we're also going to be streaming on LinkedIn.
Yep, we're live on LinkedIn as well.
Good stuff. So really excited to be here for all of those that are watching online and on the webinar. And really, we're talking all about building your brand. We're talking about updates to marketing in 2025. And there are definitely a lot of things happening. As we are doing this recording, literally last week, there were major updates as it relates to Google AI, Instagram, SEO. And so I'm going to be sharing a lot of those things with you today within this particular session. And so what I want you to really think about in 2025 is that marketing is literally moving from our head into our heart. And what I mean by that is that in today's digital age, we have AI, we have all of these tools, but ultimately people are going to make decisions about coming into our practices if they feel like, number one, we are the authority, and they feel like we really care about them. And I'll tell you, lots of things are happening. And just to share a quick story, I graduated from dental school back in 2001. And as I graduated, websites were just coming out. And a friend's sister came to me and she said, Anissa, if you're going to make your practice, you need to go ahead and get a website. Now, at the time, I didn't even know what websites were. I was literally like, what is that? www. But I said, you know what? What's the worst that can happen? What's the best that can happen? I'll go ahead and do a website. Well, 8 years later, I was number one still on Google. And I think I might have been actually the first dentist in Birmingham, Alabama to build a website. And so when this happened again, when social media marketing came out, I remember what happened. And so I started to post on social media. I started to really get curious and even started to understand ads. And these were in the times when a lot of dentists were like, oh, this is something that's just for kids. This is not something that is really going to help our practice. Or maybe they were posting like social signs. And so what wound up happening is a year later, we had 50,000 people following my practice. And we winded up getting like 50 patients a month from social media. And so where we are now, I can tell you, because I've lived through this twice already, is we're in a place right now where we're at another pivotal moment, another pivotal shift. And it is what is happening with AI, what's going on with ChatGPT. People are searching completely different than what they were doing before. And for me, as a fellow dentist, as a dental professional, my role really I see as being someone who could be a voice to really help everybody understand the changes that are happening so that we can now be able to help people. Because the truth, guys, is that there's no lack of patients out there. There's an infinite number of people that we can help. But the reason why we're not able to help them is that they don't know that we exist. And that's the reason why really marketing is in place. And what I share oftentimes when I'm speaking, what I share to my clients really is what marketing is helping people to see you. And this is for me all tied into what we're talking about today, which is branding, is really helping people to see you as your authentic self, guys, like who you actually are, so that people who need to find you to heal can actually find you. And so there's this triangle, and I've been talking a lot about this lately, and it really is the full marketing triangle. And at the very top of the triangle is really looking at social media, looking at video content, looking at how do we capture your voice. And then how do we actually weave that in, but what's happening with your website, right? How do we allow them to actually kind of talk together? And at the same time, how do we integrate in search tools like Google and AI and ChatGPT? So we're going to be covering all of those today. And again, my goal is to help you to understand really how to reflect your brand. And a brand is what people say about you when you're not around. And, again, they really all want to integrate in because we don't want to have a social media brand that's Neiman Marcus, for example, and your website looks like the dollar store, right? So we're going to talk about how to create content that attracts high value patients so that you can get seen by thousands of people, thousands locally. I want you to understand the difference between branding and marketing and how to use both effectively. And we're going to talk about why and how to use social media as lead gen while preparing your content to be found and picked up by AI. And the question is, why does this matter? Right. And the reason why it matters is that in 2025, guys, social media is no longer optional. And I'm being bold to say that. And I remember, for many, many years, some of you may have seen me in the past or taken my courses. Like I was teaching Facebook marketing, funnel marketing for years, right? Like 8 years ago. And at that time, it was just one platform, right? It was Facebook. But now what happens is that, especially post-COVID, people are on Facebook and they're on Instagram and then they go to YouTube and then they're on LinkedIn and now they're on X and now they're on Google. People are popping all around. And so we want to make sure that you have what we call omnipresent marketing. But what we want you to understand as well is that this is what's actually fueling AI discovery. And patients are really researching online, as you know, before they call. But what's happening is people are literally doing their due diligence to actually check your brand before making a decision. And gone are the days where people sit down on their desktop computers and they drink their coffee and they do their due diligence. People really are checking out Instagram, right? But how do we integrate all of these things together? So let's talk about the difference between branding and marketing, right? And so for me, branding is, what do people say about you, right? So they say, you know what, I want to go there because they are known for being the best in dental implants, or they're the best pediatric dentists, or they do frenectomies, or whatever that's going to be, right? Like that's the brand. And a lot of practices, they may take some time and they actually are going in and they are creating content, right? And some practices might even hire a videographer and say, okay, I'm going to get somebody to do that. But the problem oftentimes is that no one sees it. It's kind of like if I write a book, right? So some of you guys have maybe heard of my book delivering. Well, let's just say I write a book. I write a new book that's all about how do you grow your dental practice by $1 million in the next 6 months, right? And if you read this book, it's going to happen. And so I go through the process, a couple of years to actually write the book, to be able to edit the book, to be able to put in all of the photos and everything. And I print them out and they're sitting right here, right? And everything is here, but you don't know about them, right? And so marketing is taking really, really good content and actually putting marketing dollars on it so that people can actually see it, right? Or using tools so that people can actually see it. And so for me in 2025, it really is about both. Now, some people focus, again, just on the marketing. Maybe they go and they say, you know what, I'm doing Google Ads, I'm good. The problem with that is that oftentimes, you hear oftentimes, well, number one, Google Ads are going up, or you hear that people are actually just wanting a discount. And the truth is that if there's no brand around the marketing, then there's no way that people hear about you. There's no hook or how they hear about you. And a hook is literally like, how do people hear about you? Is it coming from Instagram? Are people hearing about you from their friend and now they go to Instagram, right? And so that marketing is kind of like when I worked at Winn-Dixie when I was in high school, and they had their brand or their marketing was they double coupons, right? And so they had a lot of customers, they had a lot of clients, but it wasn't based on feel, for example, like Whole Foods. It was really based on discount, and that was their marketing model. And so ultimately, what we want to do with our marketing, as we all know, is we want old school word of mouth. We want to go from awareness to engagement to actually having patients to come in to become fans and bring in more patients and patients. But I want to talk to you guys about content that actually works. Okay. And so the first thing when we start thinking about content and we start thinking about brand, right? That's the whole purpose of this particular webinar and training, is to help you to understand that brand is about a feeling. It's about a feeling. And so one of the things that we want to look at is when we're writing copy for social media, or words for social media, or words for your website, right? We want it to really be heart driven. So here's an example of heart driven copy. And what's really exciting is, again, there's some new updates. One that literally just happened last week with Instagram that's now going to allow everything that you're posting and distributing on Instagram to now be picked up for Google search, similar to your website. But let's go through this copy so that you can kind of understand what heart-driven copy actually sounds like. Sometimes the biggest transformations began with the smallest moments of courage. A patient recently told me, "I've hated my smile for 20 years, but I didn't think anything could be done." She walked into our office, nervous, quiet, unsure, but she left with a brand new confidence, a brand new smile, and a tear in her eye. This is why I do what I do. We're not just fixing teeth, we're helping people stop hiding. We're giving them the freedom to laugh without covering their mouth, to show up in photos, to finally say, "Yes, I love my smile." If you've been putting off dental care because of fear, shame, or worry about the cost, please just come talk to us. We'll meet you with kindness, options, and hope. It's never too late to change your story. So this is really beautiful. And as of July 10th, there was a massive update with Google and Instagram. And so previously, for those of you who've heard of SEO, if you haven't, I'll just share with you what that is. So that's when people are on Google, they're typing in what they're looking for, and all of a sudden it searches the internet and it finds the words. I'm just going to make it simple, and it matches them, and then it makes a recommendation, right? And so prior to this July 10 update, when Google was doing their search for SEO, it was picking up websites. Well, as of last week, now what's happening is that it is also now indexing Instagram. So that means that Instagram is equally as important as having content on a website. And some might say that it's even more important because in today's day and age, people are literally doing their due diligence to go to Instagram. I'll give you a quick story. So I have a toy poodle, and I was looking for a trainer for my toy poodle. She was a puppy, but at the same time, she was like a Velcro dog. She was always like coming and attaching to me. She would see other people and other dogs, and she would get really reactive. And honestly, it was getting me like really to the point where I didn't want to take her out, right? And so I was talking to a friend and she said, "Oh, you need to go check out Rough Rules," right? And so she's like, "Go check out their Instagram." She didn't say go to their website. Go check out their Instagram. So I went to their Instagram and I saw videos of week one. They were with, Lulu, a different dog. And by the end of week one, Lulu was in a park off of a leash. And week two, she was no longer a Velcro dog. She was out at the beach off leash. And in week three, she's sitting down underneath the owner at a cafe, right? And so for me, when I saw that, what I said to myself is, I know that they know what they're doing. I heard her energy. I heard that she really cares about the dogs. I could feel it. And I called them and I'm like, "I want you to be able to train my dog." Now, what's really interesting is she's like, "It's going to be a little expensive. It's going to be like 4K for 3 weeks of an hour." And it's not that I have, an endless amount of money. And it's not that I'm very careless with my money. I'm very thoughtful where I put my money, but I really crave to have freedom more than I crave my money because I knew that they were the experts and I wanted to have that, right? So this is what we're looking at, right? And so as we start looking at copy or what you're posting on social media, what you don't want to do is you don't want to do videos that are talking about when do you change your toothbrush and all of these sorts of things, right? This is where this practice started. And then ultimately, I'm like, what's your circle of focus going to be? And we started to shift into creating content specifically about dental implants to serve and show that he's an expert. So here's an example of that. And this is really all about building that brand.
Let's say you're interested in implants and you have a lot of questions. In an effort to answer some of those questions, here's one of the questions that you may have. How long is the surgery? Am I going to be out for days and days? Do I need to call off work? Do I need a doctor's note so I can take off work? I mean, I give you a doctor's note if you want one, but you don't need one. You'll be in here for about 45 minutes to an hour and a half during the surgery. You won't feel anything because you'll be numb the whole time. When you leave out of here, you'll say to yourself, what was I so afraid of? Then you'll be happy to know that when you come back in about 3 to 6 months, you can get your crown and be done with the whole process. And you'll have a tooth in that section that you were missing, and you'll have a full, complete smile again. Come on in, don't worry about it, relax. We could just talk about it. Now, after we talk about it, then we can make decisions. So come in first. That's the first step.
Right. So that video is really sharing, number one, for people that are afraid, they don't have to be afraid, right? It's also showing that you can be vulnerable, right? So that brand is really all about showing that you are an expert, for example, in dental implants. Here's another example that's really showing content that speaks from the heart, that really, again, shows the brand that this doctor really cares.
One of my favorite things about this office, it is people that are from this community or close by. It is people that's been in dentistry for years and years and years. There are people that know what is going on within the business of dentistry. They can speak to it, they can communicate it. They're fun, they're young, they're vibrant. We're having a good time. Music is good, it's live, it's old music, it's new music. The culture here is one of my favorite things because when I come to work, I don't feel like I'm working. I feel like I'm helping people. And that's because the team is bringing that energy.
So that's another video. And what's really cool is running ads to these videos, having more people see them. So that's, remember, the branding, and the marketing is putting ads on it. Now we're able to actually get video views and get leads for as low as $8, which we're not getting on Google. Now, let me just kind of share one thing that's really important, an important point. And that point is about geofencing. Okay, so I see we've got a couple of attendees on here now. I'm not sure if you guys are able to use the chat and kind of put in there, but geofencing is kind of like having mailer marketing, right? So that means that you have mailers that go to this zip code or this zip code or this street, right? And so with that, we're able to, when people have their phones in the zip code or the street, they're able to actually see your videos. And what's cool is that you could spend a couple $100s and be able to get between 10 and 30 or 40,000 people in your community seeing that you are talking about dental implants or airway or full arch or all on four, right? All of these. And so this is a power of what's happening with geofencing. Now, what we want to do with our ads is we don't want to just send people to, for example, a landing page or just to a website or just get views, right? We do want to actually have people to go to a landing page. And on that landing page, what happens is that you are able to go in and really get the heart and feel of the actual practice. So let me just kind of share with you what that looks like.
It all started right here in the shot. This is where I was born. This is where I was raised. This is where Smile Success became an idea. For years, we've been making an impact in Chicago, transforming smiles and changing lives. Our mission didn't stop there, though. We wanted to extend the same level of care and dedication to Bellwood, bringing the expertise, care, and technology straight here to your neighborhood. Whether you need a routine checkup or advanced treatments, we've got you covered. We're here to create happier, healthier smiles and to be a trusted part of this community. Because at Smile Success, you're not just a patient, you're family. Ready to experience the best dental care? Visit us here at Smile Success right here in Bellwood.
And so what happens is that when we're leading people from the videos on Instagram or on Facebook, on YouTube or LinkedIn, they have an opportunity to literally go into the hook, which is, again, how do people hear about the practice? And that, in this case, it might be an Instagram ad, right? It might be somebody told their friend to go there. And this is the story. This is the story of the practice. And then the offer, so marketing is called hook story offer. The offer is actually this landing page, and the brain likes to go left to right. Now, let me share a couple things that are also very impactful, right? So a couple things as we shared, lots of things are happening. And I want to share with you the power and impact on posting on multiple platforms. So this is another practice. This is a pediatric dentist, actually. And their focus now is on getting more airway patients. So you can see here their videos, their feeds. And so I'm going to just kind of share with you this video. It has, what is it, 34,000 views on the video.
Are 3 times more likely to struggle in school because of oxygen deprivation while they're sleeping. Snoring is not just a noise. It's a sign that your child's airway is restricted. When oxygen levels drop at night, the brain struggles to function at full capacity during the day. Over time, this can impact memory, learning, and even emotional regulation. Snoring is a red flag. It's not just a habit. If your child snores, it's time to take a closer look at their breathing.
Okay, so I want to share with that because again, this is an example of a video. And then from the video, what we want to do is we again want to be able to send it to a funnel, right? So going in and going into her funnel, and this is what her funnel looks like. But what we want to look at is we want to be able to distribute content on multiple platforms. And I want to share with you again the impact.
As a pediatric dentist and a mom, I know.
And I won't go through the video there, but it's very, very similar. But as we're posting, again, being able to distribute content, not just on Facebook and Instagram, but this is what happens. A lot of people don't know that you can actually distribute content directly to Google. Okay, so every single week, and again, I do own an agency, so we're doing this for the practice, but every single week, content is being distributed directly to Google. And so now people can go in, they can maybe Google the practice, they can hear about it. Now they see videos, they're learning more, they're seeing that the practice is an expert. This particular video is talking about laser dentistry, and now they can again hit the learn more button and get back into that funnel. Okay, so very impactful. Now, another thing that's happening in terms of omnipresent distribution, and again, just speaking to Instagram, and then we're going to go to the other platforms of how they play in, is that number one, there was a major update last week that now has Instagram being indexed for regular Google search alongside websites for SEO. So that means that when you're distributing content and posting on Instagram, the copy, the words that we talked about before, the heartfelt copy, we're going to want to make sure that we have Fort Lauderdale or Bellwood Dentist in there. We're going to want to make sure that when they're posted, the actual location, the practice is being selected as the location to be able to connect it with Google Maps. This is all SEO, guys, a lot of SEO. And if you have questions, put them in the chat, okay? The other thing that's a major, major update is this button right here. You guys see that button that says AI mode. This literally just launched, okay? And with this is Google's version of ChatGPT, their attempt to be able to continue to have market share against the other platforms. But if we go into, for example, AI mode, I want to share with you a couple things that are happening. Number one is it is giving information on Journey Kids, right? And you can see here it's showing their website, it's showing their Instagram. But if I go in there and I ask the question, which or who is best pediatric dentist in Fort Lauderdale that treats sleep apnea. Okay, so let's see what it says. And you can see here it's doing all of his searches, right? And you can see here that it is bringing up Journey Kids and orthodontics as the top, okay? And this is without ads. So again, right now, we really, as I shared before, social media used to be like, oh, it'd be really cool to have. Now things are really changing. Now, the other thing that's very, very impactful is that these updates in Google AI, they're not making, just like ChatGPT, it's not making any recommendations based on Google Ads, okay? It's all organic. So if we have content that's distributed on our Instagram, if our website, right, is all integrated in, that's where it's pulling the information. Okay, there are local business like dentists near me, anybody who's done running dentists near me ads for leads, those are showing up, but the traditional searching for dental implants or those keywords, none of those ads are showing up. Okay, so this is really, really impactful, really, really powerful. And the other thing that I want to share with you is really looking at, let me share with you one more thing as it relates to social media and ChatGPT. And then I want to talk about kind of like the next pillar, which is kind of getting into your website and how it all plays in together. So let me just stop share for just a second. I'm going to go back into my PowerPoint and I want to kind of show with you kind of what's happening here. And here we go. So again, that's Marissa Bell, heartfelt copy. And this is an interesting slide as well, because you can see here, this is before she even started running ads. Just changing from the way that people traditionally post, which is a lot of stock content, to using custom content, then now we're able to have 47% more accounts that are actually reached, okay? And again, using geofencing, going and putting in ad spend to spend like $100, you're able to get, you know, between 5 and 10,000 views per video. And these are people that are in the neighborhoods that you want to actually see the videos. And you can see here a very, very, very low cost of being able to get, you know, $2.44 per thousand people that are actually putting their eye on it. So really powerful things that are happening. And again, we want to be able to bring it to the funnel, which we shared before. But I want to talk about ChatGPT now, guys, because this is the other major thing that's happening. So some of you, and by the way, are any of you, if you can put in the chat, I'd love to be able to see, are any of you, or actually it looks like, yeah, everyone's able to chat in there. Anyone running Google ads, anyone having like seeing an increase in Google ads? If you are, just like type in the chat yes, right? A lot of people are seeing increase in Google ad costs. And my theory is the reason why that's happening is that fewer people are going to Google because people are now searching on ChatGPT. All right. And with that shift, what happens is that the Google ad costs go up. So if in the past you're spending $2,000 for a certain number of leads that potentially can become new patients, what's happening now is that because people are not even seeing Google, they're going to ChatGPT to do their search. What's happening is that when they're spending and they want to get the same number of new patients, you have to spend more money. So it's not necessarily that your marketing agency is not a good agency and people are like jumping from place to place. I just want you guys to know, to understand the truth of why they're actually more expensive. And so the question is like, what is going on with AI? What is going on with ChatGPT? And again, the key in 2025 marketing, guys, is that it's really becoming omnipresent. That means that you are posting when content gets distributed, it gets distributed on all platforms, okay? And so as we start looking at content, it's going to be posted on YouTube, right? It's going to be posted, as we shared before, uploading the videos directly to Google without paying Google anything, right? And what happens is that when we're uploading content directly to Google, Google now sees that the page is an authority. Okay. So what that means is, again, people are paying for Google ads, really, right? Or people are bidding to be at the top even of the Google ad listings. But if you have a page that has really good content, they know that people are going to stay on it longer. They rather show your ad or your content, and they're going to actually be able to push it out to more people for the same amount of ad spend. Or what happens is that, again, you're having a lower cost per click. So very powerful when you do an integration approach, an integrated approach, if you're running Google ads, to have the social media to be able to lower your ad costs. And again, here's an example here, just typing in best pediatric dentist for Airway Fort Lauderdale. You can see here that it is pulling up, you know, Journey Kids as one of those options as it relates to AI mode. And that was in AI mode, guys. Now in regular mode, just regular search. So at the top, you see AI mode. You guys see AI mode. And then right at the very top, you see all. So all is regular Google search, and AI mode is AI helping to search for you, right? To be able to like do research for you. But even when we go into regular mode and I just type at the top, best pediatric dentist for Airway Fort Lauderdale, you can see that Journey Kids is coming up, which is really, really cool. All right. So again, let's just kind of share with you what's going on with with ChatGPT. So if I go in, and I do live in Fort Lauderdale, but if I go in and I say I'm searching for a cosmetic dentist, and I am a dentist that lives in Fort Lauderdale, it gives me three options. None of them are actually going to Google. They're going directly to websites, right? But what's happening is that if I say something specific, like I want a dentist who is in Fort Lauderdale, who also is from New Orleans, or who also speaks Spanish, or who also is Jewish, or who also went to the University of Kentucky, or whatever, right? That's how people are searching now. What happens is that ChatGPT is saying, okay, cool, I'll help you. Can I help you a little more? Let me ask you some more questions. Would you like to have a preference regarding gender, specialties, or insurance, right? So I went in, I'm like, sure, female, from a female, right? So it says, great, I'll look for female dentists. And so then it goes in and it actually starts to look for dentists that are females, and it starts to gather information. So you can see here it says, I'm gathering criteria to identify female dentists in Fort Lauderdale from New Orleans, checking their acceptance of Delta Dental and assessing their expertise and practice background. Then it says that they're searching. I'm thinking how to pinpoint dentists by looking into their New Orleans roots or last names. Well, my last name is Broussard, right? So that's a New Orleans last name. And then it goes in, and then it finds an article. I actually went to UAB, so now it's picking up an article that is now matching again, just like SEO, traditional Google search, but it's matching, dentist, Fort Lauderdale, New Orleans. You can see at the very bottom, and then it goes and it looks at other websites and it finds another dentist, and then it starts to scan LinkedIn. You guys see that? You see that? It starts scanning LinkedIn. And so it goes in and it goes, I'm looking through various dental options. Many appear to be male dentists, notably Dr. Elise Fernandez stands out with potential ties to New Orleans. I'm checking her background. And then now it goes to Facebook. And then now it starts to look at Facebook, and now it goes and looks at Instagram. And then it goes through a couple of other sites, and then it gives recommendations, which is going into recommending myself. And you could see it cited a website, which was the UAB website. But then after that, it actually went in and it cited Dr. Christine Fernandez, who is originally from Coral Gables, Florida, and she attended Tulane University. And you can see here that the citations were her being recommended from Instagram and Facebook. And so what I'm saying now, guys, and oh, this is Dr. Marissa Bell again, she's getting those airway patients directly from ChatGPT, which is really, really cool. And so what I want you to understand, guys, is that we're not just marketing to people anymore, we're marketing to AI. And that means that every time we post online, we're not just attracting patients, we're literally training algorithms. Guys, if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat, and I'm happy to answer any of those questions. And then also, I'd love to, and I know that you're on as well, Jordan. If anyone, if anyone has any questions, I'd love to be able to answer those questions.
Awesome. Well, there's
So,
one question that I have here.
yeah, Jordan.
With all these changes in 2025 with AI, what
Yeah.
are some of the things that people could do right now to get started?
Yeah. So the first thing that we want to look at is, what is your brand presence, right? What is your brand presence, right? So are you even there? If people are searching, are you even there? Right? So it's to really just make a decision that you're going to start posting content, right? And so that's going to be on social media. And the truth is, a lot of times, in the past when I was teaching Facebook marketing in the past, and dentists would go on, they take the course, but things have gotten a lot more complicated now, to be honest with you,
Mhm.
right? Because it's not just posting on Facebook or Instagram. It's the omnipresence is what's getting you picked up in ChatGPT and all of the AI-based search. So it's having content that is on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and LinkedIn and all of them, and they all play in together. And that's how we're able to, for example, Dr. Marissa Bell, she's not actually running any ads at all, right? Which was
Right.
really interesting. But there's actually another piece, Jordan, that is very impactful, and it is really looking at websites. And as we are now helping practices with, social media marketing. So, what we do is we have a doctor, they'll get on a copy call. So we write the copy and then we build out scripts and we literally feed the doctors line by line, right? If you've been thinking about implants, this is what you need to do. And then they say it. And, we come out a couple times a year and we do all of distribution, and build funnels and like all of that stuff. But as we're doing that, I started to like say, okay, well, it can't just be about social media, right? That's your brand is more than just what's on social, which is, I mean, obviously that's a huge impactful part, but your website is part of your digital footprint as well. And so we started to really look at websites and start to really analyze websites. And so I'd love to kind of just spend a little time talking about the integration in of video content on your website and really looking at how websites should be designed in 2025,
Right.
uh, because it's also super impactful. And with Dr. Marissa Bell, as we just talked about before, there is a full integration in of of custom photography of the same video that's on her funnel is on her website because it's already filmed. You know what I mean? So what's happening is like we're able to partner with anybody's website company because we already have photos, we already have the video's uploaded to YouTube. So now they're, even if it's their brother that made their website, now they can, design it in a way that actually has conversions and is actually going to be able to evoke to get people into their heart and be designed in a way that does drive conversions. And for me, I didn't share much about my background, but I am a dentist. I retired 5 or 6 years ago, and I got started or became known in the dental industry after I had a podcast. I was the first female dentist
Mhm.
podcaster, and then people were like, okay, that's, and I was talking about practice management and all of these things. They're like, but how are you getting 50,000 people on social media? Like, how are you doing that? Because that's not like normal. And to me, it was like easy, right? And
Right.
so all of a sudden these dentists were like, you need to teach me, right? So that's kind of like where I began in the dental industry. So I started teaching Facebook marketing, and that led down, doing consulting and practice management and like all of that stuff. But along that journey, I started teaching funnel marketing, and I started working with Russell Brunson, which you mentioned at the beginning. And with working with Russell Brunson, for those who've not heard of him, he is the founder of ClickFunnels, really the person that really brought funnels to the world, really, in a major way. His book is Expert Secrets. He was talking about, my Invisalign and what we did with funnels in my practice in his book and all of that stuff. But in building and working with Russell one-on-one for 8 years, or 6 or 8 years, as a student of his, of marketing, we spent a lot of time understanding and studying conversion of sites and how things should be laid out and designed, not for the sake of having like a little, oh, I have a storefront, I have a boutique, but actually getting conversions, right? And so
Right.
I feel like, I've been kind of come full circle. I had a consulting company, and a couple years ago, clients were like, well, who do I use for marketing? And I'm like, I don't know who does this stuff, right? And I was actually with Russell like about a month later, and I was like, I think I'm feeling a tap on my shoulder to build an agency. And so we did this a couple of years ago. But I want to share with you like what I've learned.
Mhm.
And that way, guys, like on your own website, you can have some guidance to be able to talk to your website company, right? And so I'm just going to kind of like go back over into Google so I can show you a couple things, right? So first is my dentist, my actual dentist, right? And I think it's really interesting. So a friend recommended him. We were out at lunch, and a friend, he actually, John, one of the dentists, came up and saw my friend and was like, oh, how you doing? He's like, oh, that's my dentist. You know her. She's a dentist. He's a dentist, one of those things. So long story short, a couple months later, I wanted to, and I do own a dental practice, but it's not here in Fort Lauderdale. I was like, you know what? I don't want to have to go back to my office. I'll just do it here. So I remember they told me about his name. So what I did is, of course, I did my due diligence on Instagram, and then I go to their website and I see this video. All right. So I'm going to actually just share with you the video because I think it's very powerful and impactful. And it really talks about how we can get more fee-for-service patients and really, again, website design.
You have to have integrity. You have to have empathy. Patients see that. They know that. And you could be the best dentist in the world, but if you're not a good person, if you're not passionate, if you don't care, then they'll go somewhere else.
Dr. John and I both have always thought, what would we get out of a business if we were to think about the team first?
Working here has genuinely changed my life. I've learned more here than I could have ever learned in a textbook.
And everybody here is like a big family, so you feel like you're working with your brothers and sisters.
It's just a stress-free zone. Everybody here makes the day easier, makes the day better, makes the day enjoyable. You've probably heard it already. They're like family.
Our reputation means everything to us. It has to start from somewhere. So he and I like carry these core values. It's just in our nature. And then you've got, these dogs.
I just see exponential growth. I see us becoming stronger. We really are such a good team.
So we are growing and we're growing fast. We got a lot of people that love being here, a lot of patients that love being here, and the sky's the limit.
We do all things dentistry under one roof. Veneers, Invisalign, we have a root canal specialist, we have an implant specialist, we do gum surgery. If a patient comes here, they're not going anywhere else to get any other specialty work done.
Awesome. So you can see that video, and what happened after the video is that I was able to, again, go left to right and able to actually choose an appointment time. Now, what's interesting is what happened after is we made the appointment. And after we made the appointment, I actually got a text message. And the text message said, not sure if you're aware, but you actually have Delta HMO, which I wasn't aware, which is interesting because I'm a dentist and I bought the HMO. No idea. I had no idea. So I'm like, thank you for letting me know it's January. I can go and change it and get a new one right before the end of the month. But I had no awareness. And they were like, it's going to be like whatever it was. I don't even remember. $160, $180. Are you okay with that? Right? Basically telling me I'm going to be out of network. And I'm like, yes. Why? Because I watched a video. Right? I made a decision at that point. Oh, no, you're going to be my dentist. Right? And so it's really, really powerful in terms of how they built their website. Now, what's interesting is, guys, it is full of text. This is not like just be honest, it's not a beautiful website. It's not, okay? It's a bunch of text, but guess what? They're the highest rated cosmetic dentist in all of Fort Lauderdale, right? So again, there's something to be learned here in terms of, and to be honest, I didn't even scroll down. I didn't even see this until I went back to look at it again to be able to analyze it as a strategist of what my experience was, to be able to share that with my team. Because prior to that, we were building funnels or landing pages that had like quizzes and things like that, right? And then I was like, guys, we've got to put a video, since we're going out there and filming reels anyway. We've got to make a video like this, and every funnel that we build has to have that story, right? And so we immediately did that. We made those changes. And so, as I shared before with Marissa Bell, this is her funnel, and it's
How important it is for kids to feel safe, comfortable, and confident at the dentist. Hi, I'm Dr. Marissa Bell Oliveira Mador. We've designed our practice to be fun, welcoming, and stress-free, so children leave with smiles, not fears.
I don't trust just anybody with my kids. And like I said, it's a great experience and I really trust the providers here. So
the doctors are fantastic. The staff is so kind and sweet. My son loves coming here. I don't regret it one bit.
That's why we do what we do. We make a difference in their lives, sometimes in ways we don't even realize.
This isn't just a job, it is a purpose. And we're so grateful to be in this journey with you.
At Journey Kids Dental, we partner with parents to make every visit reassuring. We're proud to be part of the Fort Lauderdale community, and we'd love to welcome your family
to Journey Kids Dental
Orthodontics,
where every child's journey starts with a smile.
So you can see the funnel video, and again, that's done. But I want to talk to you about her website, okay? And again, just kind of, and actually before we go there, before I show you that, I want to show you then, and again, this is really just to make you aware, okay? This is another website, and actually it's a pretty good website. And this is not, this dentist is actually phenomenal, phenomenal dentist. But you can see here in this website, I'm looking for the schedule appointment button, and I'm seeing learn more, and I'm seeing our story, and I'm seeing more patient stories, and I'm seeing dental care menu, and I'm seeing hours and location. Like, it's literally not there. It is literally not there, right? And so although there's video, the feeling doesn't give you the feeling of feeling the energy of a video. And again, really, really important to be able to have the schedule appointment, to request appointment is really, really important, right? And so as we start looking at, again, one of the things that really worked really well is that, let me just kind of go in here to their actual website. And again, this is showing all integrated in because there's videos that are distributed here. Now someone goes to the website, and now the website build based on giving instructions and talking to their web builder, right, which we're working a lot with now. You can see here that the website has, in the video, just the sound is off, but the video is there. There's a big box. And then what you can see here is custom photography again, right? Going in and being able to have Google reviews, being able to, again, in all of these buttons, schedule an appointment, right? So it's set up for conversion, guys. And every time we hit, schedule an appointment, they have an opportunity to go in and actually book an appointment through their online booking, which was their preference, right? All being able to, again, see in their Instagram, connect in there, follow, look at their social media, right? So it all integrates in. And while you have so much content in terms of beautiful content, the video, what happens is that this is increasing their SEO because the video is housed on Google, and Google is owned, YouTube, and YouTube is owned by Google. And also what's happening as well is that people are staying on the site longer, and the longer that they're staying on the site is actually increasing the SEO at the same time. And so to me, it's a very, very powerful site. And as we go into services, what's really nice is when you go in, there's information about the services, right? Which are great to be able to answer those questions that people are asking on AI, on ChatGPT. There's also the Q&As, and this is also being picked up. And so again, for me, like marketing in 2025 is really looking at bringing it all together. Is having your social media, is having your website, and there still is a place for Google Ads, by the way, right? So running Google Ads is also important because people still are searching on Google. And so being able to have Google Ads, but what if instead of doing a Google ad to a discount, right? When there's no brand, where there's no connection, the only hook is going to be like $50 off, $100 off, $100 new patient special, right? But what if instead we're running Google Ads because people are actually searching and there's no discount, but instead they're seeing your funnel with your video, right? And then now they're making a connection. So what we're seeing is that people are attracting patients that are like, you know what, it's fine. I want to see them. If I have to be out of network, I can. Like, that's what we're seeing, right? And so having that integration in so that you now have what I call that trifecta, right? So you have omnipresence, so you're on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and all of the things. And now what's really beautiful is, again, like in that case, it was a very inexpensive website. It really was. She redid it over. It didn't cost her very much at all, to be honest with you. But because the content was already there, it was easy. It's like, oh, let's just pull the pictures out of the Dropbox and pull the photo or the video off of YouTube. And now you have a site that looks like a $30,000 website that actually has built for conversions with all of the schedule nows. And this was all based on like feedback of like how it needs to be designed, right? And so they followed the feedback, and it's beautiful. And again, the last piece is that one other thing, and I know we're kind of wrapping up now, Jordan, but in terms of Google Ads, there are two types of ads. So one is like dentist near me ads, right? And then there's obviously the ones where people are searching for implants, airway, all of those things and those keywords. Those dentist near me ads are really inexpensive. And so if you're looking for leads and you want to be able to get more leads faster, that's a way that you can get them. And also those do appear in the AI bar for the new AI Google search. And so now again, just integrating them all in, but when they go in dentist near me, and now they're going to your website or your funnel with a video, you can see why your conversions are going to be really high. So hopefully that was helpful for you guys.
No, I think all this was extremely helpful and useful. And yeah, this was great. Thank you so much for bringing it to us. Is there any way for our folks to reach out to you if they wanted to learn more about scaling their business through digital
Yeah,
ads?
yeah, absolutely. So I would say if you have any questions, and I'll just put up this slide here as well. So my company, my agency is called Digital Floss. And so it's really simple. Like you can just, go to digitalfloss.com and that way you can schedule a call to talk directly with me. And then I can do an audit and really look at what you're doing and then share how we can help. We really kind of take everything off your plate. So we become the partner that flies in, does the copy, and we're in your office, a couple times a year. And then from there, we're doing full distribution and kind of managing everything for you. So yeah, we'd love to be able to connect if anyone is interested.
Awesome. Well, with that, everyone, today, everyone for joining. And Dr. Broussard, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Take care, everyone.